Will Big Meech be released in 2024? With high-powered attorney Brittany Barnett behind him, it is likely his release date will be here possibly this year. But how? You may have seen Brittany Barnett in the news. She is the same attorney who helped free Tony Lewis, infamous Rayful Edmonds co-defendant. Tony Lewis had served over 3 decades in prison for his role in one of the largest, most notorious crack cocaine crime rings in the country, and certainly in D.C. Convicted of being part of a 29-person conspiracy in 1989, the D.C. drug kingpin was serving a life sentence at the age of 26, without the possibility of parole. Tony Lewis's son would call Brittany Barnett an angel of freedom and Harriet Tubman for helping to bring him home. The founder of the Buried Alive Project, Brittany K. Barnett, first came to national attention in 2018 when she worked with Kim Kardashian to free Alice Johnson. President Trump made that happen. In 1997, Johnson was sentenced to life in prison for cocaine trafficking, even though it was her first offense. She served 21 years in prison before being freed in June 2018. Brittany initially filed for clemency for Alice Johnson during the Obama administration, but Obama did not unlock the gate. However, it wasn't until Kardashian took note of Johnson's case and brought it to the attention of her then husband, Kanye West, that she was ultimately granted a pardon by the Trumpster. Video would show her running into the arms of her family in freedom with a prison jumpsuit on and tears streaming down her face. Kim K would credit Brittany and Kanye when asked if she thought Alice Johnson would still be in prison if Kanye wasn't a Trump supporter. Kim answered, "I do believe she would still be in prison. We've spoken about this a few times. Alice always says if it wasn't for Kanye speaking up in support of Trump, then she would still be in jail." Brittany Barnett on January 3rd, 2024, filed a motion seeking a reduction based on the November 1st, 2023 Sentencing Commission changes for Big Meech that allows federal judges to drop points for those that committed their crimes while still on probation. Big Meech got 2 points for that. Back in September 2008, the court would send Big Meech to prison for 360 months. That 30 years was reduced to 324 months and or 27 years, based on a motion filed by the same attorney that is now on the case. As things stand, his release date is May 5th, 2028, but that will soon change. The Black Mafia family was founded in 1985 in Southwest Detroit by brothers Demetrius Edward Big Meech Flannery and Terry Lee Southwest T. Flannery, and by 2000 had established cocaine distribution sales throughout the United States through their Los Angeles-based drug source and direct links to Mexican drug cartels. The Black Mafia family operated from 2 main hubs, one in Atlanta for distributions run by Demetrius Flannery, aka Big Meech, and one in Los Angeles to handle incoming shipments from Mexico, run by Terry Flannery. The Black Mafia family under Demetrius entered the hip-hop music business as BMF Entertainment in the early 2000s as a front organization to launder money from cocaine sales and to legitimize itself. BMF Entertainment served as a promoter for several high-profile hip-hop artists and as a record label for their sole artist, Blue Da Vinci. Big Meech and the Black Mafia family became famous in hip-hop, popular culture, for their highly extravagant lifestyles. But in 2005, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, indicted members of the Black Mafia family, ultimately securing convictions by targeting the Flannery brothers under the Continuing Criminal Enterprise Statute, CCE, and both were sentenced, as mentioned above, to 30 years imprisonment. Prosecutors would allege the Black Mafia family made over $270 million in the course of their operations. It all started in Detroit, Michigan, when the brothers began selling $50 bags of cocaine on the streets of Detroit during their high school years in the late 1980s. Their original group was known as the 50 Boys. By 2000, the brothers had established a large organization overseeing multi-kilogram cocaine distribution sales in numerous U.S. states, including Alabama, California, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, and Tennessee. A 2-year federal investigation of the brothers' organization estimated its nationwide membership as being over 500. Around 2003, the organization experienced a schism when the Flannery brothers began to feud, with Terry moving to Los Angeles to head his own organization, while Big Meech remained at the main distribution center in Atlanta. By 2003, the two had been involved in a major falling out and rarely spoke to one another. In a conversation with his brothers, caught by the DEA on wiretap, Terry discussed his worries that his brother, Big Meech, was bringing the wrong type of attention to their business with his excessive partying. By the time charges were filed against the brothers, the government had 900 pages of typed transcripts of wiretap conversations from Terry's phone in a 5-month period. Police investigation into the Black Mafia began sometime in the early 1990s, before the organization operated by Big Meech and Southwest Tea was named or reached peak distribution. The lead up to the October 2005 indictments began with a series of large drug seizures and subsequent informant testimonies from BMF members. On October 28, 2003, a 2-year organized crime drug enforcement task force investigation began that was coordinated by the DEA Special Operation Division and codenamed Operation Motor City Mafia. On April 11, 2004, a BMF carrier and high-level distributor, Jabari Hayes, was pulled over in Phelps County, Missouri, along I-44, driving a 40-foot motorhome, supposedly for swerving over the fog line. 2 suitcases containing 95 kilos of cocaine and 572 grams of marijuana were found in the back of the Range Rover after a canine unit alerted to drugs in the vehicle. In mid-September 2004, a wiretap on Raphael Smurf Allison, a low-level crack dealer in Atlanta, led an HIDTA task force to DeCarlo Hoskins, a mid-level dealer. Hoskins informed them that he had grown up with the 2 brothers, Amari McCree and Jeffrey Lear, who were BMF members and able to supply multi-kilo quantities of cocaine regularly. Wiretaps revealed that Amari McCree was a high-level distributor for the brothers' organization and was favored by Demetrius. On November 5, 2004, Jeffrey was pulled over with his girlfriend on I-75 in Atlanta due to the wiretaps. In the back seat was a duffel bag containing 10 keys of cocaine. They were released later that day in an attempt by HIDTA to gather more information in regards to their supplier and the organization using wiretaps. McCree and Lear, facing a large debt to BMF for the lost cocaine, would go on the run. When picked up June 8, 2005, Unknown signed a confidential source agreement and described his role in BMF, naming Big Meech as the source of the cocaine. Chad J-Bo Brown supplied him with cocaine on behalf of Demetrius. These events and a number of others formed the backbone of the government's case. During trial, the government's star witness was William Doc Marshall. Testimony giving during various trials say the Flannery organization operated as follows. BMF operated 5 stash houses in the ATL. Approximately every 10 days, vehicles would arrive with 100 to 150 keys of coke, packed in secret compartments. Workers at the stash houses were paid to unload the drugs and store them. Customers who ordered would call in and say they had their vehicle ready, meaning a transportation vehicle, to put the narcotics in. Depending on the size of their order, they were directed to a particular stash house where they would pull in, go inside, hand over money in $5,000 bundles. The cocaine was usually sold at $20,000 per key. The same vehicles would then be filled with cash, the proceeds from drug sales to be sent back to the Mexican cartel, their suppliers. Workers inside the stash houses had certain duties, such as counting bulk amounts of cash, usually in the millions. Other people were packaging the cocaine for customers. BMF also received drugs through large containers at the airport, containing 100 to 150 keys of cocaine, which they picked up and delivered to stash houses. But that's all old news now. With Brittany Barnett behind Big Meech, his 27 years can now be lowered to 292 months, or 24 years. With Amendment 821, Big Meech's criminal history score now goes to a 1. The same judge that Meech's motion is in front of is the same judge that reduced his brother's sentence to 292 months. Prosecutors have told his attorney that they will not object to the filing as of right now, and most won't object to what the Sentencing Commission has done. Expect to see Big Meech get a year halfway house, bringing him home in time for Christmas 2024.